So the test is graded. Homework is also graded. Homework, you send it to me, you get full credit. Very simple. You just put check mark next to it. I want to talk about the test closer to the end of class. We have just 3 students right now, so I'm sure there'll be lots of repetitions. So we'll wait until maybe another half an hour, so more people will wake up and join us. And then we'll discuss the test, how you can get better grades, all that I will talk about. So the test is not over, no worries. You can always improve it if you want. If you don't want, that's fine, be your grade. But if you want to improve it, then I'll definitely going to give you a chance. I graded quizzes, of course, yes. I grade quizzes. As soon as I get quizzes, I grade them. So simple. Your course grade composed from 3 parts: homework, midterm, and quizzes. So if you didn't send me midterm, well, send it to me. If you forgot to send me homework, send it to me. I sent a reminder to people that I didn't get the homework from. And some people say, oh, Alex, I forgot, or I sent it already. So just send it to me. If I didn't get it, then I sent you a reminder. Check your email. Anyways, I'll discuss that at the end of class in very detail. No worries. We'll do that because it is very important that you get a good grade. I'm totally down for that. I will help you. Okay. So in the meantime, I'm going to start a little bit with the chapter 12. The new chapter is here for us, which is completely different with what we saw previously. There are 2 more sections left in chapter 11, so if time allows, of course, I will return back to it and go over it. It's like optional material for this class. So if there's time, then we can always do that. So anyways, I'm moving to chapter 12 that discusses so-called sequences. Like, for example, if you look at numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, notice you can continue this forever, right? And we put dot, dot, dot because we cannot really list all of these. And that's what's called a sequence. So it's always infinite set of numbers. Sequence always has dot, dot, dot. So what's important is to know how we produce the next term of the sequence. And people will say, oh, looks like it's going to be n. So we usually relate with the position of that term. So first term is 1, second term is 2, third term is 3, fourth term is 4. So it looks like you got an idea. So next term is going to be 5, 6, 7. So what's the nth term? Sometimes people call it as A index n. There's a little n next to it. And how this nth term is related to the actual value. And they say it's the same thing as n. So the first term is 1, second term is 2, third term is 3. So the nth term will be n. And we produced formula for the nth term. And that's probably the most important thing about sequence, to realize that if you just say that nth term is equal to n, then that's it. We can produce any term of this sequence because it's completely described by the nth term formula. That's what they're talking about in here. So they trying to give you various examples of sequences. For example, here in 1, they're talking about 1/2, 2/3, 3/4, and so forth. And they say that the formula for so-called nth term will have exactly the same thing in denominator. Notice that for my second term, denominator is 2. For the third term, see the index. is related to denominator. It's the same thing. The first term is 4. I see that we produce same number on the bottom as the term number, and numerator is less by 1. And that's why they say here it's n less 1, or just n minus number 1. So it turns out it's enough to produce the formula for nth term. So this way you can say, what's the sixth term going to be equal to? Well, you don't have to start with the first, the second, the third, and so forth. You can just say 6 is in denominator. The formula tells me put that n in denominator, and numerator will be 1 less. So subtract 1 from 6, and this is going to be a 5, right? So it's fraction 5/6. So point of story that sometimes people start with the first term, with the second term, with the third term, and so forth until they reach that sixth term. But you don't have to do that because it takes a while, especially if somebody says, Alex, what about a hundredths term? You don't have to write 100 pieces here. All you can do is just use the formula above, and you put 100 in your denominator, right? And numerator will be smaller by 1, so it's 100 minus 1, or just number 99. So now we can see that this nth term formula is indeed very, very important. How about example 2 that says the nth term, or they actually say Bn? Why they don't use A? Why they use B? Well, just for a change, it's the same thing. So what they say is -1 will be raised to some power here, which means that signs are going to alternate in this sequence. So we'll see what this means. And it's multiplied by 2/n. They put it in the parentheses to clearly show it's being multiplied, or you could just put times instead of using parentheses, which is the same thing. So what about first term? Well, I'm going to replace my letter n with number 1, and that's how I produce the first term. So it'll be 1 plus 1, the power of -1, and it's multiplied by 2/n, which is 2 divided by 1. Well, let's see what this is. This is a 2, right? So -1 squared will be +1. And +1 I multiply by 2, so I just get number 2. Okay, whatever it is, I just listed my first term. I can also write the second term. And same exact procedure is going to be done. So I'm going to be using the formula above. And in this formula, instead of n, in these two positions, I'm going to put number 2 now. So -1 will be raised to the power of 2 plus 1, right? So add 2 with 1, which is going to be 3, which is going to be actually odd power. And then for my numerator, for actually the other fraction, I'm going to have to divide 2 by 2 and see what is going to be coming out. I think I wasn't careful for some reason. It would, oh, it's not a fraction, it's just power of 1 plus 1, right? That's calculation. So anyways, I get a -1 to the power of 3. Let me use the other color so I don't mess it up. So that's -1 cube, which is just -1, right? -1 that I multiply by 1. And this is whatever it is, -1. Okay, -1. One more. B index 3. See how we do this? It's tedious. You just need to carefully put numbers in a formula, because if you have a formula, that's it. You're having everything. So notice that now power of -1 is 3 plus 1. So notice that when you replace this index, they say 3 in the term, then your sign will be always either plus or minus. So if power is even, like we have here, we get a positive term. So this one is positive, that one is positive, but the next term will be negative, because science people say alternate. They change from minus to plus and from plus to the minus. And they actually produced here a few terms that you can see alternate in their signs. Like we have first, then one after, so that's a third, and then fifth terms. They're all positive, but the others are negative. And that's very good to realize, and that's standard, that whenever you have the term -1 raised to some power, signs of your sequence will always be changing in signs, plus, minus, plus, minus. Interesting, right? Very often you see this type of result. And then what? Well, then looks like the fractions will appear. So there'll be like 2/3, 1/2, so and so forth and so forth. So you get all kinds of fractions that produce from this sequence. It takes a little time to get used to it. So today I'm just trying to give you introduction. There will be no quiz. As promised, I will discuss the midterm in very detail today. Looks like already more people are coming. We already have more than 10 in class, and that makes me happy. So more and more people are coming. So in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about the midterm. Just wait for more people stop by so we can discuss all that. So anyways, let me look at a couple of more examples and we'll do that. So the key observation is to see that so-called nth term formula is very important, because that way you can describe all terms of sequence and you can find the hundredth term or millionth term without starting with first, second, third, and so forth. That nth formula is the most important. So what's going on here? N when n is even, which means that if we have the first term, it's odd, so second term will be even, so that'll be 2. The next will be 4, right? Even numbers. 6, that's for the so-called even indexed terms, like 6, 4, 2, and of course there are infinitely many of them that move to the right, right? But what about the odd ones? Well, with the odd ones, I have to use fractions, 1 over, which means that for the first one, a index 1, I need to have 1 over 1, which is 1. For the third term, I have to use the 1 over 3, right? So we get fractions. For the fifth term will be 1/5. For the next term will be 1/7, right? And so forth. You say, Alex, what is going on? Why is this in here? Well, it's just example of various kinds of infinite sequence. Sequences are always infinite. So it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and stop. It's not a sequence. It's called set of 5 numbers. Set, not sequence. But sequences could be just about anything. And we just see various examples of that. Let me do one exercise here at the end of the section, and I will discuss the exam. And this section will take us a few class meetings because it has lots of information in it. So I'm not going to hurry with that. Let me just try one exercise here so we can do this, continue doing it next time. Like exercise 11 that has to do with a special notation called factorial. In this exercise 11, we have 9 factorial divided by 6 factorial. Well, please notice that this is not a sequence. This is going to be just a number. And turns out that factorials 3 with exclamation mark does not mean you need to scream out loud 3. No, no, no. You just multiply numbers 3 by 2 and by 1, and this is equal to 6. So it's just another way to write down products. Turns out it's very popular. So if I start to think about this fraction, what I can notice is that I can cancel here, since 9 factorial will start at 9 and keep going down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and all the way to 1. So I can actually write it times 6 factorial because I see here on the bottom, same 6 factorial that I can cancel. How about that? And then I can produce the answer. You could just multiply 9 by 8 by 7. If you don't feel like multiplying, you can just get a free scientific calculator. So just start typing scientific calculator. I use my choice 1 here in Google called Desmos. And you can just go ahead and multiply 9 by 8 by 7 and get the answer, whatever it is, 504. Say this factorial, that's something pretty odd. Are you sure this is the case? Yes. In fact, you can actually put this factorial in this calculator. You can get 9, and then in order to get factorial, I need to use the choice function. So that's main menu, and here's function. And you will see the explanation mark here, factorial. Notice that's pretty big number. And then you can go ahead and take this 9 factorial and then go back to main. So you can divide this by 6 factorial. So I'm doing the same exercise again, just to convince you that indeed we produce the answer, which is the same, which means it's correct, 504. Factorial is very big expression. In fact, if you try to find a big factorials, let's say if you try to get 100 factorial, so go again to functions and put factorial, what kind of number it's going to be? Well, it's actually going to have 154th power, so I have to move the decimal 154 places and fill the rest with zeros. So it's going to be a number with so many zeros at the end that's not going to fit in the calculator, and that's why people write it as a so-called scientific notation. It's a huge number. In fact, if you try to get 1,000 factorial, I don't think you'd be able to. Let's see, what do you mean? Well, it's too big. Calculator cannot take it. So, something to think about. These calculators have their limitations. And that's the reason why we need some special so-called numeric processors sometimes to be able to deal with big numbers, because they are not takeable by the calculators. Interesting. So anyways, maybe it's a good moment to stop, because I will continue with this sequences next time, and Thank you for being patient with me. I want to say a few words about the midterm that we had last Friday. I sent it to you on Thursday, so I guess I gave you plenty of time. Well, some people still need more time. Okay, just take your time and do it and send it to me. Or if you forgot to send, don't tell me various explanation. The computer was not working or you sent it somewhere or whatever. Just make sure that I receive it. That's it. That's all I care about because I need to grade it. So I can put your grade on Canvas. Those of you that did not check grades on Canvas, just go on Canvas and see what your class grade is. And if you see something like A minus, well, our college does not have grade A minus. It means it's A. But it gives you a hint that you're on the way to get a B, right? So it gives you a hint that maybe you should put a little bit push harder. So if you want to get a A grade on this class, then well, just take it a little more seriously. That's the message. Or if you have a grade such as a B plus, it means that you can quite easily get a better grade, get an A, but it's not really a grade that you're gonna see on your transcript because our college either has A or B, so all these minuses, pluses, it's just a matter of me communicating your grade, giving you a hint that you could do better and get better grade. That's the idea. But it's still, there's no B plus, it means it's B. But you probably did not turn in homework because I just sent a number of people email reminding that I will accept late homework for full credit, no problem. Just send it to me. Because people are wondering, should I send you homework? Yes, that's your homework. You don't send it, you don't get points. Very simple. So do it, send it to me. I will gladly accept. When I get emails from you, I usually reply, thank you, make sure that I confirm that you received. Well, of course, if I get 10 emails with homework, I don't reply, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I reply once so you know that I got your homework. So that's it. You're good. Okay, so no worries about this. But yes, I always acknowledge when I receive your work. And if I did not acknowledge that, well, check the canvas. Maybe I didn't receive it, so something could happen. So don't worry. Just make sure that I receive it. Just send it again. And I guess that's the way to go with these online format classes. Now, with respect to the midterm exam, not everybody got a perfect grade. Why not? Well, first of all, not everybody answered questions. Like first question, for example, clearly ask you graph equation. So I need to see the graph. Number of people did not graph. Number of people try to type something. When you're typing, you cannot type the graph. It's pretty challenging, I think. So you don't have to type anything. So you just write it on a piece of paper, make a picture of that graph and send it to me. So that way I will be happy and I will raise your grade. In fact, I'm willing to give you another chance to those that want to get a better result on the midterm. So let's say you got a C grade on the midterm. Okay, you can get a B grade, you can get one grade higher, just redo the midterm correctly and email it to me again. You don't have to do it tonight, you can do it all this entire week. I give you plenty of time to think about it. I never rush my students to do mathematics. So you can take your time, don't hurry, but do it right. You still have a chance to learn. So look at what I did when I gave you a review before the midterm. I spent 2 classes giving you a review, and I emailed you those reviews, recordings. It's all in your inbox. Check lecture, recordings, how I did the exercises, and do pretty much the same thing. So if you take a word and type, that's not how I did them. I got a piece of paper, pen, and I wrote it. So do the same thing and do the same steps and you will get a better grade. Very simple. If you don't want a better grade, if you're fine with a C or with a B, whatever you receive, okay, that's going to be your grade. But if you have time and if you want to improve, why don't you do that? I'm willing to raise your grade by 1. If you forgot to show me all work, forgot to put a graph, that was one of the major mistakes. The other mistake was people forgot that this is hyperbola. So they gave me ellipse or some half of hyperbola, like parabola. So make sure that you look at how I did the practice exercises. They're same. The different numbers looks a little different, but go over that. Take it seriously. Because I think that it's somewhere I know you have plans and other things. Somebody said, Alex, I'm on barbecue. I just don't have enough time. Well, I hope you already stopped with your barbecue, so do it now. After you finish with your barbecue, relax a little bit, maybe take a nap and do math. It's fine. I will give you still credit for that, but make sure that you do it. Or to those people that never sent me their midterms, well, send it to me because next week, I think there'll be deadline to drop people from class. So if I don't receive any work from you, well, I don't want to fail anyone. I'm going to drop. That's why in some cases, I no longer have your course grade. I took off the grade because I don't want to put a fail. I don't want to discourage anybody. But if there is no grade, then it means you're not passing this class. So you want to really take it seriously. Otherwise, well, have to drop from class because I don't want to fail anybody this summer. I don't think it's a good idea. So take a look at the last lectures and take it seriously. If you did not send me the midterm, please send it to me. If you want to redo the midterm, please redo it and also send it to me. But do it without a hurry. Do it right. I give you the plenty of time for it. Somebody said, can I do it next Saturday? Okay, do it next, but make sure you do it right. I want you to learn. I don't give you a deadline after that day. That's it. So right now I can give you the time to fix things up as well as homework. I will accept your homework. Just make sure you do it and that you email it to me. Again, all details are in the last 2 lectures. So check your student emails. And again, make sure that all work is shown because I clearly say show all your work. So don't just give me the answer. That was the other thing. Some people did it correctly, but never show me any work. So, and I told if you don't show me work, you don't get a full credit. Yeah, you might get a C grade. You did it right, okay. Maybe you use technology, whatever. But I want to see the work. So send it to me. Redo the exam, show all work. You will get a grade higher. I think that's a good deal. So it's not a problem if you missed something, then I can still take care of it. So that's lots of questions. The first exercise was this complete and square. Lots of people did not show all work. So show it to me. You still have time to learn if you did not learn it by now. So take another week, look at how I did the problem, learn it. I didn't give you a hard problem. There were no fractions. It was pretty straightforward little exercise, the nicest I could find. I didn't give any nasty problems, which I could, but I didn't do that. So I was very fair. So also be fair. Show me work. You will get a good grade and everybody will be happy, I hope. So that's for the first complete and square exercise. And the second was determinant. Well, lots of people did that correctly, but some people still did not realize this was determinant. They did some triangulation. Determinant is a number, so I need the answer, the number, not some kind of matrix. Determinant is a number, it's not a matrix. So that's important to realize. So again, check very last lecture before the midterm, which was Wednesday last week, and you will see how it's calculated. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think that's probably the nicest exercise from that chapter that I could find to give you, because there were lots of nasty problems, but it was I found something fair. So please think about it and take it seriously. If you would like to send me something, I will accept it for full credit. So no worries, just do it and email it. So I'm going to stop this for today. I'll let you think about your work, check the Canvas, and get better grade. Why not? I give you a chance. Okay. And if you're happy with your grade, you say, Alex, C is just what I needed. That's it. Period. That's my last class in this college. I get AA degree and I'm out. That's it. I don't care what be the GPA, whatever. I just need to get that diploma or pass this class, and that's all I care about. Okay, then do nothing. If that is great that you like, then that's it. You're good. So relax and enjoy the rest of nice and rainy Monday. So I'm going to continue next time with this section. So far, I would say homework is just to catch up with this exam. So I'll do problems from 12.1 next time. I'm going to stop this recording.